What's up, y'all? You're checking out Living Corporate on YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell in that corner so you keep up to date with all the dope content we're creating here, driving real talk in the corporate world. Living Corporate is all about real talk in the corporate world. One thing I'll say, Bert, is what I notice, and like I think this is applicable, this is a cross-generational thing. Black and brown folks that I engage formally on Living Corporate, but then also in just conversationally, right? Like we have this thing where, to your point, hey, there's 20 things we're gonna hit 19. We have these imposed limits or requirements that no one really no one told us that we had to do that, but they're internalized, from just look, I was raised where it's like, look, you have to be twice as good to get half as much. You gotta, they did this, and by they, let's be very clear, your white counterparts did this. You got to do da 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 da, and like that comes from a real place that is validated through American history, and at the same time, that can drain and burn you out and limit you way faster than I think we appreciate. Like there's so many conversations where I have people, so I'm 33. So many people I talk to, Bert, and like who are millennials like me, or even a little younger, and they're like, okay, I gotta go get my MBA. Then I gotta get it's like, well, why do you need to get an MBA? Well, because I want to do this, I want to get this position. And to get this position, I want to make sure I learn this. And I said, well, and side note, no shade to MBAs, because you put your money in, you put your time in. Don't let me I'm not trying to do that. What I am saying is, though, that like I've also met several people who graduate with their MBA and they're like, okay, now I got to go figure out what I'm gonna do. So, but we're conditioned to go, okay, well, this education or this certification or this thing will unlock something. But then again, like I've had the privilege of talking to people on both sides. I worked at I was in Big Four Consulting before. Now I'm at Diversity Inc. And so like before that, like when I was in Big Four and I was talk to people who were in the MBA, and I say, okay, why'd you get your MBA? Because I'm trying, and I want to do da. And I say, okay, what are you gonna do? Well, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do Big Four for a couple of years until I figure it out. And I'm like, but I thought you were doing the MBA to figure. Well, so what are we doing, right? It's like this, and so I mean, you're absolutely right. I think it's all about having the right people in your environment, because we're talking about higher performing, like we're talking again, the black and brown folks that are typically engaging and working in these jobs. I'm gonna be honest, and look, I think, Bert, I know that laziness is not racially exclusive, so I'm not speaking to that. I'm gonna say, because I've been in like highly competitive environments. Typically, when I talk to people, and this actually extends to the FISA campaign, and all the interviews I've had, when I typically talk to people that look like me, Bert, they've not only done what they're doing right now, but then they're doing like 20 other things. Like these are high performing, because just the environment they engage in doesn't allow for them to be anything less than that. So, it's about having the right people around you to help let
100.
you know, hey, look, go ahead.
100. No, I just say 100. I was laughing as you were saying that, because that's absolutely the case, right? It's what you do. We talk about living corporate. That's it. That's where we're at. But it extends to every other place, right? It is how you wire and how you grow and what you do with your time. And again, it gets that time, talent, treasure. What do you do with those three things? Yeah. Right? Help you find where you are and where you bring that. I was thinking back when I was 33, and I can still remember. And we were talking about a little about this about off air. Yeah. Right? There was a group of brothers, and we would get together literally once a month, sometimes twice a month, usually on a Friday night, as we were making our way to be like, what are we learning? What are we learning about how this it was all biopharma, different sides of it. What are we learning about this? Right? Because there weren't many that looked like us, that were above us to be able to have those conversations. We were having them with ourselves. As we then realized that we had gotten to that next level, it was like, well, you know what? It's time to be able to give back. It's time to be able to give back. And one of the things that we learned and that I share I share it with my kids, I share it with my mentors, I'm gonna share it with you so you can share it with everybody else is, who is your board of directors? If companies, for profit, not for profit, any company, has a board of directors, why do they have that board of directors? To help guide them on where they're looking to go, to ask them difficult questions, be able to give them the support, tell them they're on the right path. Okay, so why don't you as an individual have a board of directors who does the same thing? And now, what does the composition of that board of directors look like? I don't mean what does it look like, black, brown, white. What does it look like as far as their knowledge of you? How do they know you? They know you personally. They know you from growing up. They know you professionally. What is that skill set? So you build a diverse, from every lens, set of personal board of directors. And now when you have important decisions to have, you go talk to them. You don't need to always talk to all of them all the time. Board of directors also have subgroups, right? Mm-hmm. You have a finance committee. Okay, well, who are the 2-3 people who know how to manage money? Have them be giving you advice on what to do with your money. Who are the people that really understand how organizations work? Ask them if this is a job that you should go for and what you're short on. So if you think about it that way, it allows you to keep, you asked this question earlier, you have to keep learning. You have to keep asking questions. You have to keep seeking to understand, okay, what's changing in the world above me? Because in order to get 18 out of 20 on that test, you got to put your head down and get it done. And as you get older, the ability for that skill set to drive your success individually or through others becomes a smaller percentage of the total. So what's the new stuff? What's the new stuff? I'm a communications minor. I'm a communications minor for one reason. In my sophomore year of college, I went to a small school. Dude from the basketball team, who I was like, I want to be like this brother. Sharp. Hey, he could play ball, which I never could. Baseball, yes. Basketball, fundamentally challenged. He came back to our business management class and said, here's what I've learned in my first year of business. I sat forward and he said, I've learned it doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you can communicate that you know. And the next day, I became a communications minor. It made all of the sense in the world, right? But it's not about getting just the knowledge. It's the application of that knowledge. Okay, so now you got a communications degree. Do you refine it? Do you use it? How do you communicate? When is a story important? How do you use facts? I have a finance background. Being good with numbers and being good with words, not a bad combination, but how you get that through people to help them do what they can do to do for others, that's what's exciting about it. So I love what you're doing because I think about that as that little small group of 6 or 7 of us now at a whole different scale with a whole different frame to make a difference. So God bless you.
Dang, I really appreciate that. I appreciate it, man. Now look, it's funny because, I asked you about where your people were from. You talked about, you shared a little bit about that. We both, we both deal with assumptions. People assuming things. They look at us, or they may ask a couple of questions and they make all sorts of assumptions. I'm curious, what do you think are some of the biggest assumptions you have faced in your career? And I want to double click on this from 2 lenses. One, I'd like to actually get your perspective on assumptions you faced from junior Black talent or as Black professionals as you have conversations and they seek to engage you and vice versa.